Let me see. All right, shalom, shalom. It's the brother Shakar from Grimstone Lake Charles Camp. Just back again with another lesson. But before I do anything, as always, I'm gonna start by saying, "Call Holy Yamlah, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash." That's all praise to the Father. In the name of His only begotten Son, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Nathama Shanakabala Zakim Shar Yashrala, which is give double honors to the elders of Israel, which are the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who teach and rule well. And Shalom Wabla Bakia Shar Yashrala, which is peace and love to the elect of Israel. And this particular lesson, I'm gonna go into how you need a prophet or a man of the Lord, to decode and decipher visions or parables, so on and so forth. Because the Lord, He only deals with what? The prophets, man. So real quick, I'll start off with I'll get that Amos, and then I'll also get the one in Colossians. Colossians. Let me see. I'll get the Amos first. So this is Amos chapter 3, verse 7. It says, "Surely thee, Yahweh power, will do nothing, but He revealeth His secret unto His servants, the prophets," man. Okay. So who are the prophets? Okay, let's go back a chapter. So this is Amos chapter 2 and verse 11. It says, matter of fact, let me see. All right, I'll just get straight to it. Amos chapter 2, verse 11, it says, "And I raised up your sons for prophets, and of your young men for Nazarites. Is it not even thus, O ye children of Israel, saith the Lord?" Okay, so it gives you an idea of who the prophets are. All right, they have to be of the nation of Israel. Granted, the Lord He can give visions, or dreams, to a heathen, or someone who's not a prophet, but will they understand it? Not saying that the Lord can't use, anyone else to impart a vision on him. All right, but it has to be broken down, by a prophet. And I'm going to get some accounts of that, to back up, what I'm saying. But all in all, the Lord, He bestowed this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding upon certain men. All right. So it says that He revealed His secret unto His servants, the prophets. All right. So let me see. Let me go to that Colossians real quick. This is Colossians chapter 1. In verse 26, it says, "Even the mystery which had been hid from ages and from generations, but now is made manifest to His saints." To His saints. Okay, let's see who the saints are real quick. So this is Psalms 148. In verse 14, it says, "He also exalted the horn of His people, the praise of all His saints, even of the children of Israel, a people near unto Him. Praise ye the Lord, Yahweh," man. Okay. So also giving more context on who the saints are, who the prophets are. Okay. And, I mentioned that the Lord, He can give, a heathen or someone else, a vision. Okay. But will he understand it? It makes me think about in Acts, the 8th chapter. And this is not the case of a vision, but it's just that he had to be taught. Excuse me. This is Acts chapter 8, and I'm going to get straight to the point. It says, Acts 8 and 28 says, "Was returning and sitting in his chariot, read Esaias the prophet. Then the Spirit said unto Philip, Go near and join thyself to this chariot. And Philip ran thither to him and heard him read the prophet Esaias, Isaiah, and said, Understandest thou what thou readest? And he said, How can I, except some man should guide me? And he desired Philip that he would come up and sit with them." So he was asking him, like, "You understand what you're reading?" He's like, "No, how can I? Unless I basically be taught, So it's the same thing, when it comes to breaking down the Bible, man. You have to be taught the proper doctrine. Okay, in the book of James, it speaks about an engrafted word. Let me see. I think that's James. Is it James 1? Say left side all superfluity. Is it 21? Yep. James 1 and 21, it says, wherefore lay apart all filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness, and receive with meekness the engrafted word, which is able to save your souls, which goes to show forth why the having the 100% doctrine, all right, in spirit and truth is important, because when you go into engrafted, that word, okay, it goes back into the word logos, which goes into doctrine. All right, so you have to have the correct doctrine in order to save your souls, because within the correct doctrine, you have the correct names. And from the correct names, what? You get salvation. You know, Acts 4 and 12. You know? But I wanted to get this, though. This is just an account of someone not knowing, you know, what their visions was basically about. You know, so they needed a prophet, you know, to come in, you know, decode it, decipher it. Okay, let me see. So I kind of want to get straight to the point. Let's see. Trying to see, well, where's a good like starting point. Matter of fact, let me see. Let me get an NLT too. See, because matter of fact, I'm gonna read, but I'm also kind of jump. All right, so let me see. Bear with me again. Let me see. I think I'm gonna start at 6, but let me make sure. All right, yeah, I'm gonna start from 6. Nope, excuse me, 7. So this is Daniel chapter 5, verse 7. It says, the king cried aloud to bring in the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers. And the king spake and said to the wise men of Babylon, whosoever shall read this writing and shew me the interpretation thereof shall be clothed with scarlet. Okay, scarlet, you know, basically being symbolic to royalty. Okay, having rank. It says to have, excuse me. It says and have chain. Also, too, I believe what it's sin, if I'm not mistaken. But he was basically saying clothed with scarlet because it was going to be a reward, you know, for basically interpreting, you know, that writing. Okay, which Daniel is going to use. You know, but I believe scarlet is also the color of sin. But to mention that was a hard color to come across, you know, back then too as well. It says, and have a gold chain about his neck, and shall be the third ruler in the kingdom. And then came in all the king's wise men, but they could not read the writing, nor make known to the king the interpretation. Excuse me. It says, then was King Belshazzar greatly troubled, and his countenance was changed in him, and his lords were astonished. Excuse me. All right, let me see. I'm gonna jump down. 12, it says, for as much as an excellent spirit and knowledge and understanding interpreting of dreams and shewing of hard sentences and dissolving of doubts were found in the same Daniel, whom the king named Belteshazzar. Now let Daniel be called, and he will shew the interpretation. All right. So they needed to go seek out a man of the Lord to be able to decode these things. All right. And that brings me to, this is Ecclesiastes 39. In verse 1, it says, "But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient, and be occupied in prophecies." And that's what we're doing now too, through the Spirit. Okay? We've been blessed to receive the 100% doctrine that was given through, our elders and apostles of Great Millstone, man. Verse 2, it says, "He will keep the sayings of the renowned men, and where subtile parables are, he will be there also. He will seek out the secrets of grave sentences and be conversant in dark parables." Okay? So it's only going to be a particular type of man to be able to do this, to be able to be conversant in dark parables, man. All right? Meaning what? He has to have that wisdom. Real quick, this is Wisdom of Solomon 8:8. It says, "If a man desire much experience, she knoweth things of old." When it speaks about this, she is going into wisdom. Sophia. It says, "And conjectureth aright what is to come. She knoweth the subtleties of speeches, and can expound dark sentences. She foreseeth signs and wonders, and the events of seasons and times," man. Okay? And you get all that through getting that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. The true wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, man. So let me see. Back to this Daniel. Let me see. I'm gonna jump down to where he actually, deciphers it. Then I'll go to that Genesis, because I don't want to be too long-winded. Just make the point, So this is Daniel chapter 5:24. It says, "Then was the part of the hand sent from him, and this writing was written, and this is the writing that was written: Mene, Mene, Tekel, Upharsin. This is the interpretation of the thing, Mene. The Most High Yahweh hath numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Tekel, thou art weighed in the balances and art found wanting. Perez," it says, "thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians." Okay, so it was basically prophesied that they were going to fall, and it was going to be a transition of power from the Babylonians, all right, to the Medo-Persian Empire, man. You can also get an idea of that timeline when you jump to the 7th chapter. And it gives you, it speaks about beasts, but it also tells you that these beasts are symbolic to what? Kingdoms. Okay? Starting off from the Assyrian to the Babylonian to the Medo-Persian to the Greeks to the Romans. And then you start to see that little horn spring up, which is America. Let me see. I'm going to jump down to 30. It says, in that night was Belshazzar, the king of the Chaldeans, slain, and Darius the Median took the kingdom, being about 62 years old. So it actually happened. But they had to go to a man of the Lord to be able to decipher these things, man. And also, this is the last one I'm going to get. And this is going into the account with Joseph. You could read, this account. I think it started like Genesis 36 all the way down to 50. And you get the story of Joseph. All right, and out of that story, you start to see where the tribe of Ephraim and Manasseh came from. All right, and how Ephraim became what that head tribe. And also, too, you start to see the prophecies that was, that help you identify who each tribe is in Genesis, the 49th chapter. But nevertheless, though, all right, this is Genesis 40. And let me see. I'm going to kind of jump around on this, too, because I don't want to, if you can read it on your own time, man. This is Genesis 40:1. It says, "And it came to pass after these things that the butler of the king of Egypt and his baker had offended their lord, the king of Egypt. And Pharaoh was wroth against 2 of his officers, against the chief of the butlers, against the chief of the bakers." It says, "And he put them inward in the house of the captain of the guard, into the prison, the place where Joseph was bound." And we know in the previous chapters, Joseph was sentenced to prison, all right, because of a false accusation. All right, the king's wife basically tried to lie and say that Joseph took her, and that wasn't the case, because she grabbed hold of him, and it said that she held his garment and he left it, So let me see, 4, it says, "And the captain of the guard charged Joseph with them And he served them, and they continued and they continued to season inward. And they dreamed a dream, both of them, each man his dream in one night, each man according to the interpretation of his dream, the butler and the baker of the king of Egypt, which were bound in prison. And Joseph came in unto them in the morning and looked upon them, and and behold, they were sad. Let me see. Let me jump down. Matter of fact, let me see. 9, it says, and the chief butler told his dream to Joseph and said to him, in my dream, behold, a vine was before me, and in the vine were 3 branches, and it was as though it budded, and her blossoms shot forth, and the clusters thereof brought forth ripe grapes. And Pharaoh's cup was in my hand, and I took the grapes and pressed them into Pharaoh's cup and gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. So he's going into what was happening, in his dream. And Joseph said unto him, this is the interpretation of it. So he's going to basically break down the dream. Okay. It says, yet within 3 days, Pharaoh lift up thine head and restore thee unto thy place, and thou shalt deliver Pharaoh's cup into his hand after the former manner when thou was his butler. So he's basically letting him know that, hey, you're going to be restored back to your place. It says, but think on me when it shall be well with thee, and shew kindness, I pray thee, unto me, and make mention of me unto Pharaoh, and bring me out of this house. And you also start to see what this play out. Okay, because the guy, he basically says, hey, I'm going to remember you. But hey, it makes highlight that as soon as he got out, he forgot Joseph, but he remembered him, and that's crazy. I ain't gonna say that's crazy, but it's fire how the Lord, how the Spirit had it play out. When Pharaoh needed his dream to be interpreted, Buddy was like, hey man, matter of fact, I know who could decode this. I know who can decipher it for you. Man, it happened to me when I was in prison, man. Hey, that man Joseph, hey, he got you. And Joseph basically became blessed because he warned Pharaoh about that famine that they would have upon the land. And they basically stocked up, and everybody had to travel to Egypt in order to be sustained. And eventually, his brothers had to come as well. But nevertheless, though, hey, they all needed prophets to decode these things, man. But yet you got people who think that they're just so fucking perfect to where, hey, the Lord is just coming down and dealing with just them. You got niggas who thinking they go outside and get all the knowledge from the sun. Bug the fuck out. But, that was pretty much it through the Spirit, man, that I had lined up, So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying to the sincere. I can walk through maybe tuning in. With that being said, I'm going to say, call Hulun Yimla, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash.